Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly shop steward today, because today we're carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Paizo Publishing's excellent fantasy RPG Pathfinder 2nd edition, the remastered version, and we are using it to play in our custom setting of the Spires of Paridar, a setting of Coalpunk setting of occult conspiracy, class disparity, and intrigue? Oh, and industrial progress. And with me today are the stars of the Spires of Paridar campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got Sean.
Hey, I am playing Golag, son of Doc. He is an orc witch detective.
Very nice. Next up is Ingolf.
Hi, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Basil Rathbone, who is an Isoki investigator.
Very nice. And last but certainly not least is James.
I'm James, and I'm playing Sally Dumaire, the ancient scale Azarketi monk.
Very nice.
Who's not a monk.
Apologies for the late start for those who may be joining us live. We got caught up in bullshitting about some stuff and then delayed for other unrelated reasons. Industrial activity, I think, is really the delay here. But guys, this is part 4 of the Queen. What is it? The Queen of the Veiled Sun. What do you guys recall having happened last time? Let me bring you over to the Paridar, or the Illuminator's office here. We had a very big Golag focused episode last time.
Yeah, so we started off with this wonderful dinner at the Babwell family. So Basil talked to the children about their nightmares and his nightmares. So that's at least some resolution at that point. And we made some plans, and we got some more information about the sister of Ransom Babwell. And we made some plans, maybe how we could smuggle her out of the asylum she is in, for having visions of another different, I don't know, reality that never came to place because of our actions. But we will see what we can actually achieve.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the discussion of getting her out, potentially.
Yeah, so the idea was to get her out and maybe get some kind of decoy so that she would be presumed dead. Otherwise, she would be looked for, and we couldn't. We were sure we had no other way to keep her out of the radar and the problems that would follow from her husband and his family.
Mm-hmm. What else happened last time?
We had and then Dr. Ursprung and Golag visited the King residence with.
I believe we're skipping over a dream that may have occurred too.
See, I was thinking that happened after this, but that happened before?
That was before you went there, yeah, because remember, you had the dream, and then when you went there, that's when you saw the...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, so Golag had a dream that basically came right out of one of the portraits, in essence, of him standing shirtless, bold, with great plume, dagger over the head.
I love all the extra. He also was quite good. His hair looked amazing. And
yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to get into that, but it's true. His work at the club, where he's getting better at swimming and climbing, has really paid off.
Definitely.
Well, assuming they're connected, but anyway, just an artist's rendition, of course. But and it was dramatic. All of Golag's grooming aside, it was dramatic where there were people chained to pillars and some ritualistic behavior that I won't get all of it, but it looked like there was definitely like a inference that maybe this Golag as prince, obsidian pillars, They matched, and the pillars matched the ones from Paridar critically.
They did not. No, they were
they did.
obsidian as well. They were pillars similar to the spires of Paridar, but there were also larger spires, obsidian spires. But unlike the white spires in Paridar, they were jet black.
Different color.
Onyx.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There was an ornate obsidian dagger that I believe he was holding.
Yeah.
And then tentacles came out of the sky as if the sky was a covering, like a lid or something, and it cracked. The tentacles came down and began devouring the victims. And that was...
You heard something within the veiled sun as well.
Tell me what that was. Remind me.
The sound of a great beast.
Oh, okay. That was sort of matching the tentacles, so the sound of some whatever.
Yeah, the tentacles
was.
seem to break through reality as if through shattered clay pots, wrap themselves around each of the individuals. But that was after your shadows had bled from your body and out to those individuals. Then the tentacles came down, and then there was the cry of something above, and then you awoke. You also had throngs of people cheering at the base of the ziggurat.
So, and then I think that was the end, right? That was the end of the dream.
Correct.
And then I think it was Basil at that point at the order. If I'm not mistaken. No,
You were back at sorry.
what
No,
was next?
No, I didn't visit the order. I wanted to visit the order, but I don't think that I.
Oh, you
I think
left. You just left, I guess. You just
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
But next was the king residence visit. Is that right?
that's correct. Yeah.
And then Dr. Ursprung had an aside with Mrs. King, who showed obvious discomfort around Golag.
Yeah.
Thinly veiled, but
Ms. Dumer, there was some discussion last time as to whether or not with the changes wrought by the Tulpa machine, whether they were actually seized by the Order of St. Sylvester or not. It appears that she was taken in for questioning, and you guys apparently freed her, but have no recollection of that specific event in this altered timeline.
Oh.
And that led to Golag meeting with Ms. King in her studio. What do you call?
She wanted me to. She wanted to show me her current grand epic project, which was a similar to her previous works. She's obsessed as ever, and but this masterpiece was a sketched portrait of immense scope, so like wall covering in size, and and it matched Golag's dream vision exactly. And her eyes, did her eyes go all black during this whole thing?
When she was describing it to you, she asked you what you thought, and her eyes went jet black.
So everything's perfectly normal. Everything was fine. It was
That's not sinister at all, then.
Yeah, it's all overreaction by everyone, and we left and had lunch, and it's all solved.
Last session where we opened with the discussion with Professor Morris Watsonful too, because it was either last session or the session before where you guys talked about the particulars of your of that painting. That might have been 2 sessions back.
That was 2 sessions back, yeah.
Okay.
Last session we started with recapping the meeting with Professor Watson.
There we go. That's it. Yeah. I can't remember. I think James has missed the last 2, so you may not have been aware of what happened with Watsonful as well.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think I was there with... oh, wait a minute. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's correct. I think James did miss.
Yeah. So and we can do a nutshell summary of that if you guys don't want to go into the full thing. But what do you recall the important things you learned from Professor Watsonful about that painting? Because there were some magical particulars about it.
What do you recall Ingolf, about?
Yeah, that is an interesting thing because I am so not the magician guy here in our troop. So, yeah, that is. So I would say that is your expertise, but if you really want me to say something about it, go ahead.
Well, I would never ask Basil, but I'm asking Ingolf. You know how that goes.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. And that's clever. Yeah, yeah. So, I think what we learned was that I still remember there was something about the paint used or the painting. It in a way, it was not in not magic in a strict sense. And it was something that it could invoke or remind you of some things. Could help to kind of focus a connection to somewhere, but that was the thing I took from it. I can not relate to any of the details because I think that's actually what I found as a player, even in your expertise. So you should take care of the magic.
I'll throw in that Dr. Ursprung did not have to do with that conversation with the professor, but that Dr. Ursprung did an experiment to see if it would burn, if it was a physical material. So he took the very corner of it and tried to do and successfully did a controlled experiment, and it did burn, showing that it was actual physical properties and it wasn't some magical illusion or something like that. So that happened. Boy. I am struggling with details of if
one of the analogies that Professor Watson Full used about it was that it is not so much a enchantment that would allow the flow of magic. It is something that is more akin to a singular drip. It's something that slowly goes along. The analogy he used was that although letting something through a drip at a time, you could still fill a basin. With that, just it takes a lot slower time. There was some discussion of what might be on the other side of this as well, and what influence it may be having over things, and what role that it may have for Ms. King, but it was all speculation. The long and short is that there is a connection in there, and it is a slow and insidious impact that it has on people.
Yeah, so Basil has at least 2 or 3 times speculated that Vesta King is possessed by the mind or whatever of your mother or one of her allies.
And that this painting was from an ally and not a foe is the theory, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why would they depict you as such a person? Unless they were
powerful and masterful, kind of thing, princely,
handsome, great penmanship,
well.
Yeah. So in a way, this is a picture from a point of view of someone worshiping you, and as hard as that might be to imagine, but we got off the idea that this might be someone close to you, or even your mother yourself. That was my idea, at least.
Yeah, I mean the only possible the malicious part, the only would be supporting that would be the mesmerization. Kind of a mesmerizing factor seems a little malicious. That may not be malicious. It may just be a byproduct. But that he just gets lost in time with it seems a little questionable. But it may be a byproduct. Not an attack. As per se. I'll throw that in just as a little
but I would say it differently. Imagine that someone from the other realm wants to reach out to you, and if my theory about your dream, which I don't know anything about, but as Ingolf the player, I would suggest that this was maybe part of a ritual to even get you here.
To that.
No, from
location.
there to here, to Paridar.
Oh.
So I would say they sent you away to keep you safe. And somehow they have now to reach out to you because someone transferred over from there to our realm as well, and is coming for you. And
Oh,
Yeah, could be.
Sally does not know of the attack on Doc either.
Oh yeah, were you
that-
there, Sally? James? What was the last thing you remember?
Oh,
James?
no. Dak had been attacked. That's right. He had been, but we hadn't seen. We'd heard the news of it,
Yeah.
and he had lived. But
Yeah, so do you know who's watching out for you guys right now?
Yeah. Did you know that, James? Did you get that?
it was the other bunch of
Yeah.
Yeah, IOU.
detectives.
Because we finished a
yeah.
session where I think we finished a session where Golag saw the newspaper and we ended the session. And that was the last
That's
one
where
that
we
James.
were.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
Right on.
So then, yeah, they've since returned. They have heard that Doc. They've heard through Annabelle O'Loughlin that he survived the attack and he's on the recovery. He sent IOU to look out for the guys. When they were at dinner, they had members of IOU following along and watching out for you as well. So it seems as if IOU remains watching over you in this reality, but at the behest of Doc, and to keep you safe now, as opposed to confound your business. So, then, any questions, Sally, of anything that you've heard thus far?
no.
Okay. Then we are picking up, I believe, with Golag and Ms. King. Dr. Earthsprung was with Golag at the time. And Basil, where are you headed right now?
I was going to visit the Order of Saint Sylvester to talk to Sir Barnabas Steele.
Okay.
So we take, and maybe Sally is coming with me. I didn't.
Yeah,
I
that
don't,
would make sense.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we just want to talk and get some new information about what's going on.
Okay. So then, Golag, we are picking up with you and Ms. King at her residence. So she has asked you, what do you think of the portrait? Let me bring us over to the King neighborhood. They do live in the nice part of Paridar. Put it over here. She is looking at you, eyes as black as night. Her face eager and enthusiastic.
Well, Vesta. I think I would say Ms. King. Well, Ms. King. Remarkably insightful, I would say.
You hear it too, then.
Help me participate in this artistic work. What is it you hear?
She looks at you. Would you give us a deception check, please? Go like. Get those dice rolling. As a reminder, you guys are level 8. 24 is an average DC. Okay. She looks at you and does not look quite trusting. 24 is an average DC, but it does not necessarily mean that her insight is average. Do you want to hero point that?
Sure.
Okay. Nice.
Take that.
Okay. So she looks at you, kind of questioningly, and you perhaps just raise eyebrows enough, and she says, "You hear the voice in the darkness, do you not?"
I think I do, Ms. King. It is not as clear to me as it is to you. I will concede. It doesn't seem to be as clear to me. I will concede, which is why I ask for your assistance in being able to discern.
Do you resist it?
I think I I am a questioning individual by nature and by occupation, Miss King. It is how I make a living, and so I don't know. I feel more shrouded to this than you clearly are. What kind of voice
she
is
steps
this?
forward and takes your hands in hers and pulls them up to as if you two were joined in prayer. And she looks at me with those black eyes. You must give yourself. Open yourself. Leave your questions aside. There is no questions. In the blackness. In the dark.
Perhaps what helps you most, Ms. King, is that you know more than I. Whose voice are we hearing? Do you know?
Still holding your hands, she moves her head slowly back and begins opening her mouth. And as she does, you can hear, as it strains to the limits, it's almost as if leather being pulled to its ultimate point, and then you hear slowly the tearing and popping of tendons as her mouth opens ever wider.
Should I make an insanity check by any chance?
You can give us a will save if you like.
You date the weirdest women, you know.
Seriously.
So I think you release her hands inadvertently. Yeah. And then as you do, like you blink and her head is still just looking at you. Her eyes back to normal now. She looks at you. And she has that cat that ate the canary kind of look. She says, it's very, almost like in a sing-song way, you are not ready.
I am seeking your guidance in this matter. You were about, I feel like you were about to help me understand who it is that's trying to reach us.
She smiles almost pityingly at you. You are not ready. I must work. And she turns, shoo, shoo, shoo. You cannot help. You are a distraction. And she is going to try and hustle you out the door so she can get back to work.
I say, I'll go with her. And as I'm going with her, slowing her down just a little as she's shushing me, or wishing me. How about wishing? Wishing me. I'll go with wishing.
There's a room involved?
With her hands on my elbow. I'll say, if you were to leave me with one thing, Ms. King, to help me understand who it is and what they're trying to do, what would it be? One thing.
You are not ready.
But if it would help me be ready.
Her eyes, once again, go jet black. You are not ready.
And do I recognize the voice at all? Do I have any? No. Okay. Oh, Mother. No. Okay.
She leads you to the door and then closes the door behind you. Her eyes now back to normal once again. The door closes, and you can hear her running across the wooden floor as she makes her way back, and then the creaking of the step ladder that she was on, working on that massive canvas. How are you feeling standing in this hallway alone, Golag?
So I think I'm standing like a few inches with my back to the door, still trying to think, trying to piece it together, absorbing. That was worse than he imagined, in a sense. That was there is no longer any question as to the not sure. I mean, I think even despite not having related to Basil the Dream, I think we've already had those conversations. Correct me if I'm wrong, Basil, that of Basil's theories that you just mentioned that this is an ally, not a foe. Right?
Yeah,
Basil?
yeah. I told you, yeah.
Yeah, before, not needing the dream or any recounting of that, blah blah blah. And I think Golag is thinking about these things, trying to piece it together because it seemed diabolical in nature. I think there's he's thinking to himself that it's got the creepy mouth, physical ramifications of whatever that was, an illusion or. Does Golag have any insight into whether that was by what nature that was? Does he have any information Sean wouldn't have?
Nothing.
At that manifestation.
No.
Okay.
One of the things that might frustrate Golag, though, is when you focus your attention on your lore and your understanding of the darkness, there is almost a, metaphorical blackness in or void in your memory. You travel to the Orklands to gain your abilities, but you're hard pressed to remember what that actually was. I think to this point, one of the ways you may reconcile yourself on a day-to-day basis with it is recognizing that if you are embracing shadow, it will by necessity involve veiling some of the particulars of your memory. Nothing comes without cost, and perhaps that is the cost you paid for your power. But
and
now,
you
know that in that shadowed valley of your memory, that is where the answers are for what might be going on and what no. So there is something concealed that you're fairly certain you knew at one time, but do not have a recollection of now.
And do I remember how I got there? To the Orklands?
No.
Yeah, so I think he's standing there with his back to the door, contemplating all this, and wishing Dr. Ersprung had been in the room, I think. Well, on the one hand, and he's going through all this. So he's thinking, he's having a conversation in his head. He's like, I wish Dr. Ersprung had been there, but it perhaps would have affected that visit, and I wouldn't have gotten as much. That's also another possibility. Perhaps
you're standing like utterly still, other than, because you've been inclined to this before, you're playing over the card from Mr. Harker in your hand, because I think that's the last business card that you received.
Yeah. In my pocket, I'm playing with. I play with business cards as I do of people that pay us. It's an old habit.
Yeah, and that's when I think maybe you hear from the far end of the hallway, Mrs. King, say, "Mr. Golag, did Vesta say she was still painting, or will she be taking some time away from it?"
She showed me her current work, which I found extraordinary. And she hustled me out because she said she wanted to do more painting. And I think I looked disconcerted. I'm not trying to hide anything.
Yeah. She says, "Mr. I know you were a busy man, sir, but would you care to join me for tea?"
That would be fine. And I finally leave my spot and walk down the hall.
Give us a perception check, please, Golag. Very subtly, you can feel your shadow as you're walking away and towards the light where Miss King is. It tugs just a little bit as if it wants to remain behind. Not enough to detach from you, not enough to pull itself off from where it rests in your tattoos or your the scars. But you can feel it almost like a thread caught in a nail as you walk away. It pulls back towards Ms. King's work.
Golag slows his pace, thinking. He's thinking about whether
it's back to normal now. Maybe you imagined it even. Probably not.
I mean, if I hadn't had that meeting with Vesta King, I might have think that I imagined it, but I don't think I'm imagining anything anymore. You know what I mean? I think he's got a little fourth wall broken. Fourth wall has been cracked. Fourth wall is not the perfect analogy, but that illusion, whatever doubt he had is just certainly cracked hard.
I will tell you the shadows at the far end of the hall seem very deep.
I mean, he's as he slows his pace.
Mrs. King puts her hand on your forearm and says, "This way, sir." And she escorts you into the garden, unless you resist.
Yeah, I'll go. Because Golag was thinking of letting his shadow observe what's happening in that room, but it seems a little risky given that he doesn't understand enough what's going on in there. So he'll...
If it's pulling back, that means that it is going against your will, because you did not release it. What might happen if you let it go and off into there on its own?
That's why he didn't. But it'd be nice to see in there. And normally sending his shadow is a normal thing for him to do. So he was having that internal conversation. But he just goes with her to the.
So I think we would cut to a little bit later where you're staring off in the distance in silence with his mother while you're kind of like tink 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 tink, stirring the 2 lumps into your tea, and then she says, "I have not seen the painting. Her current work, I mean. Is it..." And she seems struggling to find a polite way to say it. "Is it similar to her previous works?"
And I will say, with a disapproving countenance, yes, it is precisely like the old ones. In fact, the previous ones. But it is larger, much larger, and there's a preciseness. There's a very extraordinarily evocative. I am the theme, and I find it as disturbing as you do, Miss King. As you seem to.
Yeah, and like she is. It's more than just politeness. Where she tries to hide her disappointment when you say that it is the thing. Remember, you are the ones who saved her daughter. So she's always been welcoming and appreciative of him. It's only in this last visit where she seems to be even remotely disapproving of you. She wasn't crazy about her daughter's fixation on you, but better than the alternative to be in, was it Wakeman? Dr. Wakeman? Is that the name of it's Garfield something or other. Is it Garfield Wakeman?
It is.
Garfield Wakeman is the guy who currently has your previous employer.
That's the physician for Mrs. Turner.
Yes, that's the alienist. Yeah. He was the one who was caring for Mrs. Vesta King before. So she does sort of says in response to what you say. And she says she was most animated this morning, insistent on the... She sent our man to collect supplies. Caught by inspiration, it seemed. All of that was brought in this morning, at her insistence. She... You have no children, Mr. Golag. Is that correct?
That is correct.
It is... I cannot think of a happier moment apart from her birth than when you and your associates returned her to me. And the extremes of that are only augmented by the terror we felt when she was ill. There is no greater anguish than when your child is beyond your capacity to assist. She has made such great progress in this last year. But the mania from this morn, it reminded me of what we saw briefly before her sudden turn to sickness last time. Mr. Golag, is she sick again?
I don't know if I'd call it sick. I think that, but I don't know that it's altogether benign. I don't feel a good understanding of exactly what's occurring, but more than ever, I question that it is simply a benign fascination with me. So I'm going to be looking into it. There's a lot going on right now, as you can...
I know you're a busy man.
You saw the attack on my father. You did?
I had seen in the paper, yes.
There is much afoot,
of course.
Unfortunately.
I am sorry, Mr. Golag. I did not mean to burden you with my own...
No, not at all. Not at all. And I'll be looking into it, I assure you. I don't know, in some strange way, it affects me too. It's not a fascination with something random. It's me. And I will be looking into this, and I will keep you apprised. Unfortunately, I don't have any good answers for you now.
If you find them, I do not wish to let my curiosity outweigh my good sense. She comes forward and kind of awkwardly then takes your hand and says, if you can help her, please. Please do so.
Yes. No, indeed. I don't need any convincing. I appreciate your entreaty, and it is natural, understandable, but I assure you I don't need any... you can be at rest that I do not need any further compunction to figure out this matter.
Very well. You are a busy man, sir. I am grateful for the time you have afforded for an old woman and her worries.
Oh, not at all. It's well founded, I think, more than ever, that there is something afoot here, and we need to get to the bottom of it. And I will let you know.
If you look from the garden back to the house, the shutters are closed. But you can feel that Vesta King is watching you.
Yeah, I was thinking of a spell, but I don't think anything would help here. All right. He'll. I think if she's satisfied, if Mrs. King is satisfied, I think Golag wants to get out of there.
Yeah.
Time to go.
I will go at the back of the garden.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's, thinking to himself, Dr. Erspron slipping out on me, that so-and-so, wait for me. I gotta get out of here.
All right, so you make your way back out to the front, and it feels though, the skies of Paridar are always overcast, and there is the smog that hangs in the hair. A sign of progress in industry, of course. The but it feels as if standing in the dazzling sunlight in contrast to the shadows that hang over that house. Everyone gets a hero point. And then we turn to Basil and Ms. Dumer and the Order of St. Sylvester. So what, to bring Ms. Dumer up to speed, what's the goal for this meeting? What do you hope to achieve in meeting with the Order of St. Sylvester?
So we hope to find out a little bit more about those killings they were investigating. And maybe we can offer some information of our own without giving too much away, so that they would at least trust that we are not behind this.
Okay.
Or Golek is not. And the hope is also that we can get maybe some more information about what happened to the bodies that seem to have been missing since. I mean, the Order of Saint Sylvester is maybe very equipped to have educated guesses, I suppose.
Okay.
So, and we don't know what they know, so let's see. I mean, it's always, the thing with them.
Give me a moment here. I think I need to load a quick image. Let me double check here. What do we have? Have you?
And we aren't. And we aren't sure about Sally's special friend, Sir Archibald Morgan, because it is unclear whether he is in hiding or whether he was hurt or what exactly his status is. So I think we could be asking about him in a fashion like someone who knows him very well and is concerned about him without giving anything away. So that is something we should do as well.
Okay. Give me a sec here. Sally, have you any insight into what you wish to gain from this as well, or anything beyond what Basil has laid out?
Well, no. I think it's that, and what's with the missing bodies, what the medical corps have to do with it.
Okay.
Because there was that shifty man that Annabelle Carrington was talking to.
Yes, there was. So that former member, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so and also there we need to be a little bit concerned about our approach, because I'm not sure whether there are maybe interactions we had before led me to the conclusion that there might be different factions in the Order of Saint Sylvester, and Archibald is more in the, I don't know, more liberal and tolerating part of the order than maybe Barnabas Steele, who is wildly conservative and maybe
And has a penchant of wearing black uniforms. Yeah.
Something like that. So I don't know if how this relates, but we could just mention the Ninth Medical Corps and then see how he reacts.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, and
nice.
Just to make sure again. So the members of the Order of Saint Sylvester, at least these monster hunters, are somehow like enhanced humans. So at least I remember that Barnabas, Archibald Morgan was somehow like not like The Witcher maybe, but a little bit not human in a way. Something
Yeah, they
like
are.
That.
They have also been subject to similar, not the same, but similar treatments to what the vampiric serum was, or the Dampier, serum.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 2 moments here. All right. Sorry, I thought about doing this last time and then forgot to do so. So.
It's no problem.
Give me a moment. It just takes a little while to get that whole Fang Dragon, image in there.
Yeah. It's. It's the wings. It's always the wings. Yeah, that's the problem.
Without fail, just get snagged on everything. Okay. All right. So you guys arrive at the Order of St. Sylvester's chapter house. You guys have at least pre-destruction of the Topa machine. You guys had arrived here to gain the release of Ms. King. I think it was Dr. Ersprung who was the one who has secured that. So if you guys knock on the chapter house door, and while it is a busy and active square, the chapter house itself looks like a squat, mini keep almost, more so than a priory or a monastery. If you knock on the heavy oaken door adorned with the symbol of St. Sylvester on it, the door is answered by a page who is dressed in some of the same navy colors that the order favors. Looks at the two of you. What's your business?
Yeah, this is Basil Rathbone and Lady Sally Dumeyer, and we are we want to talk to Sir Barnabas Steele.
What's his concerning?
Concerning information about inquiries of the Order of St. Sylvester. Barnabas Steele was in our office. He will know us.
What's your name, sir?
I just remembered that I have told him just a few seconds ago. It is still Basil Rathbone. It hasn't changed in the last few minutes.
He looks at Sally and your companion.
Still Sally Dumeyer.
Wait here. Closes the door. There's a period of about 10 minutes of waiting outside. So you can see people going back and forth, and there's maybe one or two kind of like double takes at you, Sally, if you have your face exposed, only because you are a celebrity. And it is after that 10 minutes, the door is opened. The page pulls the door wider open. And it says, "Come inside."
Yeah, surely.
So you step in, and the place has that kind of, while the exterior definitely has a more like older, the city been built around it feel as if it is a defensible place, the inside has all the appearance of a hunting lodge. Lots of wood stained interiors. There are weapons on display. There are symbols and images, illustrations, paintings, and so forth. Recoveries from all sorts of exotic creatures and unnatural things. The page, as you're looking around, says, "This way," and brings you a little further down and then off to the left into what looks to be a meeting room. Very much adorned the same way, too.
Yeah, just because I'm curious, has his demeanor towards us changed, or is he still overly...
Still a prick, yeah.
Yeah. So
Saint Sylvester doesn't have a charm score, clearly.
Yeah. So I would just ask him on the way if he still remembers where he wants to where he wants to go.
He looks back. What's that?
Oh no, never mind.
He looks disapproving. Brings you into the room, waits for you to get in, and closes the door behind you. He gestures to, there is a table in here as well. It's more off to the side, as if this is it's a room for more, I don't know.
It is kind of an interrogation room and less than a conference room.
Yeah, like it has a look of a, it's not quite interrogation in the sense that there's like a single table and whatnot, but I mean, it is a place for conversation. There are some comfy chairs, but not for a large, group in here. There are some books on the walls. He gestures to the floor, to the two seats, and says, "Have a seat." If you do, or whether you do not, he just puts his hands behind him as if standing at attention, and he waits.
Yeah, I think we could sit down, and I'm looking. I don't know. I'm looking a little bit puzzled at Sally. So.
So, can we have some tea then, please?
He looks at you. "I was not instructed to give you tea."
Yeah. Sally, you said a word that they don't know here. This please business, he's not into it.
It is about 5 minutes of waiting.
Yeah.
He seems to be staring above you guys at attention while he waits, unless you do anything else.
No, I don't think it would be just... What would the point be to provoke him anymore? I mean, it's just...
You then hear the sound of a door being turned from a separate place, not from the hallway where you came. This guy suddenly stands at attention, and in walks a man you have not met before. He looks like this.
Wow. So I will certainly we will stand up, and I think we would know him because he's, I think, as some kind of commander here, he is maybe a little bit more famous.
You do not know this man?
No, not personally, but his name or so. Do we recognize him?
You do not know. No, I'm just saving myself time to having to rename the thing. He's about to introduce himself, but no, you never heard of this fellow.
Okay, but he seems like being more of, I don't know, there is no, I don't know, he has something which would indicate that he's more like a boss here.
Definitely in comparison to, if you look at the uniforms that...
of the other guys here.
Yeah, that the others wear, this person, he does seem to be in charge. And
yeah, okay, so then we would certainly stand up and...
Puts his hand up and he says, "I'm no woman. There's no need to stand for me. Sit." He looks at the page, and he says something. Remind me, guys, for Basil and Sally, what languages do you speak?
That is interesting. Wait a minute. I forgot.
Algolthu, Aquan, Common, and Undercommon.
Okay. And Basil?
So languages is where on the character sheet?
I think the
front page, bottom right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So then I will see that. Common, Draconic, Infernal, Orcish, Undercommon, and Hisoki.
Then he says something in a language that neither of you understand. And you could give us a Arcana check if you'd like to see if you recognize it.
Yeah, that would be nice. At least knowing the language would be something.
Okay.
No chance.
Let's see here.
Maybe I should answer in Infernal. I think that was very, very much appreciated here.
So I'm trying to find the list in core book. I can't remember. I want to make sure I've got the name. You know what? I should be looking in remaster as well, for that matter. I just want to make sure I've got it correct. And not carrying over from another. There we go.
Yeah, I think the names of my languages might have changed as well with the remastered edition.
Yeah.
Because they renamed some of them.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, because the Aquan has changed to Thalassic now.
Okay, then makes sense. Infernal is devilish.
Infernal is now Diabolic.
Oh yes.
And Abyssal is now Chthonic. I think you had Undercommon as well, right? That is... Yes. So did they give that a new one? Shadow Tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Super badass. Oh, no, sorry. It's actually Sackfroth is the Undercommon now. Sakvroth. Since I have it. What you would recognize, Sally, while you do not speak it, the instructions he just offered were in Empyrean, which is the language of angels. The page leaves the room, and then this man turns back to you two, and he says, "Sit, please. I will not have you stand." Wish to.
We already sat down again.
Okay. He walks over and sits down as well. Doesn't say, in spite of his age, doesn't have that. He doesn't seem to have any difficulty, in doing so. Doesn't flop down. Sits down as if he's just as hale and hearty as anything. And he says, "We have not met before."
Nope.
I know you, Basil Rathbone, and Sally Dumar. I am Lord Sergeant Reginald Griffin.
Very nice to meet you, sir.
We have just come to know one another. Perhaps we should get to know one another a little further before we decide whether it is a pleasure indeed for us to meet. I am Chapter Master of the Order of St. Sylvester. Your names have come to me by way of 2 of my knights.
Yes.
It's not the name that you gave to our man that concerns me. It is the other whom I wish to speak of first. Sir Archibald. I understand you are familiar with Sir Archibald.
Yes.
How do you know him?
Oh, I'm sorry. We were we met at a common investigation, so to say, and
Yes.
then
That matter in the canal.
yes.
That was you, then.
Yes.
It was.
And you've remained, he looks over at you, Sally, and then back to you, Basil, friendly with Sir Archibald.
Yes, we did.
Have you seen or heard from Sir Archibald in the last 2 months?
I'm not sure whether I should answer, and I would glance at Sally before I say something.
No. Nope.
No. Unfortunately not. We were actually asked about him by a common friend who was concerned about his well-being because he hadn't heard of him either.
His friend, the professor.
Yes, Professor Watson Fowl. Yeah.
I am familiar with him. The look he has on his face tells you he's not particularly a fan of Professor Watson Fowl.
Yeah. We have all the wrong friends. I know. Yeah.
I can tell you, we have not seen nor heard from Sir Archibald in the last 2 months either. And it is most unlike him to not provide updates or contacts, which tells us he is either dead in pursuit of his task or taken.
Was he still in pursuit of the case of the Ghoul Father?
Give us a perception check, please, Basil.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think I will re-roll that one.
Okay.
A little bit better, yeah.
Okay. You can see his eyebrow twitches just a little bit. His mustache kind of twitches. You have your answer. That definitely seems to be what it is. But he asks you a question in response to your question. Now, how do you know that name, then?
I was one of the investigators when we first encountered that person and his relation to the vampiric serum administered to children.
Fitzhume.
Yes.
I was not aware that you were involved with that investigation as well.
I was, and one of my colleagues was, but that colleague has gone missing shortly after as well.
That would be Mr. You can see he's kind of testing his memory. King. Or... No,
I think...
So Ducard, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, Ducard. He
yeah.
wouldn't have got it wrong, but...
Yeah.
Mr. Ducard.
Yes.
It seems that we each then have an associate missing who's been looking into that Ghoul Father.
It seems like that. There was some... I had some traces about this case, and I wanted to follow up, but then they didn't lead anywhere. There was some reports about stealing and probably persons that did some theft and damaging property related to this vampiric serum. But yeah, I couldn't find anything else about this. It's only some open leads, if you want to say so.
I take it it does not surprise you to learn that we have files on you, Madame Dumer, and your colleagues at your agency.
No, I guess it should not.
It's always nice to have fans.
Oh, I don't believe I said that, Madame. Knight, Sir Steele.
Yes.
He has reservations about your employer and his connections to some very distasteful actions that have been visited upon innocents. Actions that fall within the mandate of our order.
Mm-hmm. That is known to us.
But we also, Sir Morgan E. says that you helped protect folk. And the threat of Fitzhume, had you not dealt with him, it would have been something. It would be within our mandate as well.
Yes.
And so I find myself in a peculiar position. There are things I know of you that cause me concern. And there are things I know of you that are, to your credit, suggest you are allies of our cause. How would you suggest I proceed, Mr. Rathbone and Madame Dumer?
Well, as you mentioned, these horrible things that have happened, that have led your order to investigate Golag and also Vester King. I would hope that we could find some agreement to share informations about that, because although you might have doubts, I'm 100% sure that Golag is not involved in this and has no hand in the atrocities that were committed. We could even provide alibis, and last time or the time before I checked with Golag, so that there was some things where we were in Dak on the Sea and somewhere else where he couldn't have possibly be connected to the things that happened. So I can provide you with that information. Whether you will believe us or not, it's up to you. And while I would hope that you would believe us, I understand professionally that you would still have to consider all possibilities until one is clearly ruled out.
And you, madam? Does your colleague speak for you, or have you of your own mind to speak?
My colleague is a sensible man and an honest rat. I will follow with him.
I can tell you that we have investigated the comings and goings of your employer. It is the reason he is not in our custody. I feel, as I suspect you feel, he is intrinsically connected to these grisly acts. But his is not the hand that committed them.
My employer is sometimes a challenging man, but he would not be. He's not a dishonest man.
I take it you have not dealt with his father before, Doc.
Yeah. Unlike his father, Golak is never cruel.
That is interesting. What you've said, Madame Dumer, is very much what could be said of those who have met Doc, could say that of him. And what you've said, Basil, or Mr. Rathbone, likewise, very easily could be said of him. Some argue that is a strength of his, but I take it that you see Golag's lack of cruelty as a strength of his.
Yes.
Well, I am not prepared to say he is not connected to what befell those poor people in life and after. I am satisfied that he was not the guiding hand that did them. You spake of sharing information. I think that might be prudent. We made our efforts to learn what we could of Ms. King, and she is, to be frank, a quite disturbed young lady. And it was difficult to get anything of value from her through our approaches. You and your colleagues are friendly with their family, yes?
Yes. So, Dr. Earthsprung, who is one of our colleagues, is actually her physician.
I know, released from the care of another, I understand.
Well, I'm normally not trying to speak ill of other persons, but that other person should not be called a physician.
You've spoken of a lack of cruelty, and now I think you find it distasteful how the other physician affected his craft. Are you squeamish, Mr. Rathbone?
Depends on what the thing is we have to deal with. So, with the right enemy, I will stop at nothing to get rid of him. But not with those who are innocent or bystanders.
And would that an innocent, by harming one, it would allow you to dispatch a great evil?
I can see where you're coming from, but this is not the way of our agency. We are more for the more subtle approach and try to minimize casualties.
I think you mean to say a softer approach.
If you want to understand it as soft, then call it soft. I've been called soft often.
You are not wrong, though. There is likely strength to be gained in the sharing of information, though I think we have an understanding that we have a difference in approaches.
Totally.
We neither condone nor condemn your approach. I trust that you will extend us the same favor if we share information.
We are very open, yes.
This matter of the paintings of your employer. You know more of this, I suspect, than we.
So you might think that this is maybe a little bit over the edge, but I think these paintings are just for one person only, for Golak himself.
For his benefit or his enjoyment?
I think they are meant to control him at some point. But that hasn't been achieved, and he is not willing to be swept away under some kind of influence. But it seems like there is some shadowy connection that is trying to pull him in some way.
If it is connected to your employer, why are there so many across the city? Why spread them to so many homes? Why not simply provide the connection to him?
That is a question I have to ask myself. I have asked myself as well. My answer is that Vesta King is not aware what exactly she is producing.
A marionette, you think?
Likely someone whose way of trying to cope with the things she saw when she was under the control of the Elder Order of the whatever they were called.
The Endless Odyssey.
And Endless Odyssey, yes, correctly. I think it is something that somehow piggybacked on this connection and now tries to get some kind of foothold here.
Are you aware? Are you aware that her paintings now hang in more than 4 dozen homes, all prominent individuals?
No, I was not. As far as I know, there were only a couple of them.
Our Ms. King has been most productive.
So
I see a grander design at play here. Whether connected to those actions and schemes of that sham order or something new, I feel that there is some stratagem at play I cannot yet see the design, but I feel them moving.
So let us for a minute just speculate based on this very little information that we have now. So if I understand, there are dozens of those paintings.
Indeed.
And if someone is actually trying to reach out from somewhere with those, my understanding is that person would not go to the lengths of using these paintings if they were able to get a direct connection. It has to be something that is hidden, very indirect. So
I would agree.
I would imagine that a person who does, on the other hand, use, and you must excuse my my layman language, but a similar kind of magical flavor to do killings is doing the completely opposite thing. It is very open, very direct, something completely different.
One clumsy, one subtle.
I would say that we are dealing with two different factions here.
But from the same foreign land.
That might be a possibility. Yes, somehow connected at least. If it is by the magic, or if it is differently. The only thing that I can say is the last time I met a fugitive magician who was also in the conjuration of shadows. Damn it, I forgot the name. Gosh. How was his sorceress called? We were
Augustus Thorngrove you're thinking of, or
no. The female, the one from Professor Galbary, his student.
Gwendolyn Fallow.
Yeah, Gwendolyn Fallow. So she is still on the run. Gwendolyn Fallow. She was at least as involved in the Elder Order of the Endless Odyssey as Augustus Thorngrove was. And while it's not completely her style of magic, I wonder if she has not adapted or made some kind of bargain deal to gain more of that said magic.
But which of the two foreign factions would this Ms. Fallows have thrown her lot in with?
Normally, I would say she's the one for the subtle approach.
But you do not know.
We do not know, no. But the last time I saw her, I saw... And I guess I can share that information because whatever. So I saw not a human anymore. What I saw, and then I would describe this kind of humble hag or whatever that is called. I saw.
Where did you see this? When did you last face her?
This was a couple of weeks ago. We were having a fight in one abandoned warehouse where we got to...
When did you face her in a warehouse and she escaped?
Yes.
What was this concerning? What were you there for? What drew you there?
Our investigations.
And what investigation was that, Mr. Rathbone?
Well, we try to follow up. I have to be at one point adamant. I cannot release all of my sources. Let me just say I had someone who was owing me a favor, and that person pointed me to said warehouse. And in
give
our
us a deception check there, Basil.
Yeah, and I'm trying to stay as close to as what I can say without saying something about altering reality.
Yeah.
So 31.
Okay. Very well. Our understanding will be then that there will not be full, forthright sharing of information then. You keep your secrets, and we will keep ours.
I would have thought, actually, that this has always been implicit, because I would never think that you would trust me or Sally with all the information that you have.
That is an astute observation, Mr. Rathbone. I am mindful of the time. Would you and Ms. Dumer join me for a late lunch? I feel we have much to discuss.
Very, 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 yeah. Yes, very, very, very nice. Yeah, it would be very nice. Yeah.
And we shall adjourn to the garden and continue our discussion there. And guys, I think we started late today, so we're gonna have to continue this conversation with the Lord Sergeant in 2 weeks' time. So let's bring you back here. So then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our abridged session of the Spires of Paridar campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to this game, this campaign, and most other games and campaigns we run on the channel. Where did he go into the handouts already? Where the heck is he? Oh, there he is. He's hidden. There is also a link down below. On the Discord channel or server, we also have channels dedicated to most of the other games and campaigns we run on the channel, as well as Find a Group, GM discussion, virtual tabletop chat. There is a very knowledgeable, friendly, and helpful community over there, and you're more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, including, I don't know, Ingolf, what would you think of a hard-to-find and out-of-print RPG that might be on hand for them?
Yeah, so there is the English edition of The Dark Eye, which is very, very, very commendable, I suppose.
Absolutely. There's the Dark Eye RPG, as well as if they do not have something in stock that you're looking for, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And so the discount code that is listed down below is not currently working because it expired, and I sent a late email last week, and it's a short week. We hope to have that current discount code for you soon. When you do have that, it'll be posted in the link or down below, and it'll save you 10% on any purchase of $10 or more you make through the website. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart Illuminators. A lot of shadows today for the Illuminators. But Sean, Ingolf, and James, thank you so much for playing today, guys. Congratulations on making a new friend, it seems, or at least a frenemy in the Order of St. Sylvester. But we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Until then, we hope that we gave you an hour or so of time to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our Illuminators are uncovering as they're simply trying to learn more about the mystery behind these paintings. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.